Off a day. So today is Saturday, 1:57 p.m. Let me open up the date because I don't remember. It is Saturday, September 17, 2022 at 1:57 in the afternoon. And so visited by a good friend of mine who is running for public office. And I had mentioned that there are people still uh, dying of COVID-19 amongst other comorbidities on the island of Guam. And a lot of the information that was shared at the beginning of the pandemic is not being shared today, namely the classified information about contact tracing in the last election cycle. And part of it is now that the primaries have ended, I want us to go back to the administering power and how things were done back in the day, and it needs to be applied somewhat today, especially when it comes to the FAA. So this is the Federal Airline Agency. And so if you were a company that came into a area, you would actually flip a coin. Okay? So heads or tails. And you would have a third party there to do the flipping. So heads, you win the election. Tails, you lose. Or tails, you win. Or heads, just in order to get an airline space, right? So if you were a private company. And it's still practiced, I believe, today. So now that the Republicans and Democrats have their candidates lined up, then you would go match head on head, So number one contender, whoever is listed as number one on the Democrat or the Republican sides, and then you would flip the coin. And nobody has to go actually out on November for the elections if it's done that way. And I think that we are living in perilous times in which individuals are biological and chemical agents. And we're not doing enough on the island of Guam to really build up the community. What I see going on is people just in it for themselves. So for example, the relevancy of, let's say, having a six-figure salary, right, versus minimum wage, right? So if I'm going to go and get COVID-19 for minimum wage, you see, so that's still the issue of classism. And remember, the issues of capitalism is born out of slavery. So just an idea. Of course, these political parties, organized political gangs, is what I call them, don't really like that because, the science, let's say, if you get a shot. So the issue that we're also not getting information is how many people contracted COVID-19, coronavirus, in the last election cycle, and how many died. And that's primarily why I'm not a voter today on the island of Guam. And I am doing resistance work, building conscientious objection to the whole thing. So I want you to reimagine, this idea of building up our community and protecting each other just by a flip of a coin. So now that you have the opportunity, because it's always an opportunity. I'm not here to direct people and tell them what to do or be ahead of some movement, but I'm here to present idea and really to honor the people who have passed away as a result of the pandemic. So we could have a flip of a coin, because that is part of how it is, where the federal government will right be in the middle, and you have two competing airlines vying for a spot in your airport. So think about it. It's, of course, unorthodox, but we are not living in orthodox time period here. We are trying to make sure that we protect each other, protect and defend each other. That's what we are trying to do. And here on Guam, this is the Life Recovery Bible that was given to me by an ex-lover. But, you know, Gihilui Biblia, Zeni Banderahu. Right? So, think about it. Giving you ideas. Adios. Till the next one.